My name is Lindsay Lee Hobson, and I work with organisations to elevate their emerging leaders and create the ultimate next generation of leadership. But what a lot of people still don't know is late last year I founded the Learning and Development Forum, where driven and passionate L&D professionals come together to exchange innovative ideas and trending topics and popular suppliers for their 2022 calendar. And today I'm lucky enough to be joined by these forum members. We have David McQueen and Caitlin Ziegler from GRIST Consulting. Welcome.
G'day, Lindsay. How are you?
Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's so lovely to have you here. We're here today because both of you are presenting at the upcoming conference that we're having in the Metaverse, specifically for forum members and their special guests. But we'll get to that in just a moment because I would love to know a little bit about you both and what it's like to be in a day in the life of.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's really changed that much, Lindsay, since our founder, Kim Grist, founded the company back in 1989. And so he was an org psych, and after years of being an org psych, saw the opportunity to use his knowledge of psychology to sort of design better learning experiences that just make it easier and more likely for people to adopt new and better behaviours. You know, and core to this idea was this concept of successive approximation, or this shaping of behaviour. And it's the idea that making small and progressive changes or improvements that are closer to the desired goal make it easier and faster for people to, try new behaviours, make sense of them, and then adopt them. So, 30 odd years later, it's evolved into a process that we call excellence by degrees. The idea that making these small, what we call now micro-behavioural changes is a very effective way to get better and improved productivity. And I think now, given the rate of change, given the sheer volume of information that's just coming at us and the need for L&D to deliver measurable outcomes from their learning function in its entirety, that they're making these small and frequent changes in the context of our goals is becoming a more and more effective strategy. So, for us, it's not about changing any behaviour. It's about trying to find the simplest way to implement change, often with the least amount of effort, and then trying to apply it at scale, because it's the application of learning where results can be found, right?
Absolutely, and that's so important. And as both directors yourself, you understand the importance of return on investment. So tell us a little bit about your topic for the conference.
Well, our topic is all about how to use micro-behaviours to help deliver an ROI, right? And so it's so important because, nowadays, and I think your Dr. Alana alluded to this in as one of the speakers at your L&D forum coming up too, it's about tell the story, it's about show the evidence that programs are delivering a return on your investment. So whether that's return for the business or for the people, an individual, or indeed for the customer, whatever the return is, it becomes a really important topic. So, really what we're trying to do is trying to talk about how it is that we can have the biggest amount of impact by doing even less, making it with the least effort possible. So, I think for L&D folk, it's kind of counterintuitive that we kind of jam so much into our programs, that I strip some of that away and just try and find the simplest way to translate a complex idea into, things that we can actually say or do. Caitlin, that's kind of what we do, right?
It's spot on, Dave. And to sort of follow on from that, one of the reasons I find this sort of micro-behavioural approach is so powerful is it really gives your L&D teams or the leaders in the business the ability to measure behavioural change, which we know it's so hard to do that, is to measure those behavioural inputs. So if we're talking return on investment, and one of the hardest things that L&D teams face is that attribution, exactly what Dave's talking about. How do you show that the learning that you implemented really contributed to that performance uplift or that business goal? So by breaking those learning goals down into micro-behaviours, you really open up a whole world of measurement. Micro-behaviours being sort of small and simple enough to be recognised, observed, calibrated really easily means you don't have to worry about that sliding scale of quality measures. It's really either done or it isn't. And this gives your L&D team sort of a really powerful set of measures of behavioural inputs that can be tracked over time and linked more conclusively to those performance outputs. So for me, it's a really clear attribution from uplift in performance back to that learning implemented using a micro-behavioural lens. And that's what I find really exciting. And that's what really contributes to seeing those little changes adding up to the big results, that aggregation of marginal gains or successive approximation to the goal. And that's that sort of excellence in degrees by degrees in action.
Oh, that's fantastic. And one of the things I really appreciate about you both as well is your focus on simplicity. And it's how do we get the most bang for our buck, so to speak, with the most effective use of the resources we have. And I think sometimes as L&D professionals, that's not instantly where our mind goes, but it does trip us up at the other end when we're trying to show the worth of what we've done and how we've made the business a better place. So I think that is such an incredible focus and such a valuable focus as well. And with what you're doing, have you found that it helps L&D professionals with their communication as well, not only to the CEO at the end of the day, but to the team internally when they're talking about why you should do this particular training?
Completely, Lindsay. I think that's I think it's always a hard sell to go, you've got to go simpler. There's a tendency to want to get more and more complex with things. And I think really what I find really, again, the stuff that I love about what GRIST does is that bringing that complex concepts, those big strategies, the really beautiful vision statements that you have, and breaking it down into that simplest form. Because ultimately, whether you're talking about development or whether you're talking about uplift and performance or change, it really comes down to just one thing. At the end of the day, for the person at the other end of that, it's what do I need to do differently? And that's where I think learning can be such a powerful driver of change and performance, is making that simple, because ultimately we know that's better for the learner. And then it becomes a really easy sell back up the line to those senior leaders if you focus on that. My background is a lot in that sort of human-centered design, and that's what I love about the GRIST approach and that sort of micro-behavioural approach, is bringing it back to that end user at the end of the day. We've got to make it simple for them.
That's so important. And one of the things I've absolutely loved about being involved in the L&D world is the drive and the passion and the thought process to how can I make what we've been through in the last couple of years and just the world in general a better, more effective place for not only my company, but for the individuals in it. And it's that which really aligns with what I feel you guys do so well at GRIST Consulting. It's about supporting people to do better and amplify more in a way that's more simple and easier to get the job done, which is just such a powerful tool. So it's one of the reasons I love having you both in the forum so much. And tell us a little bit about your experiences in the Learning and Development Forum to date.
Oh, it's been great, Lindsay. You know, you've had this ability to bring this kindred spirits, I reckon, to a group where we can share. Well, it's about a vocation, really. All these people that actually had learning as something that's core and really important to them, rather than just a job. So, you know, when we get together, there's the sharing of different ideas, there's posing of questions, there's rumination of different concepts, all about how to try and help each other get better outcomes from with their organisation. So it's been terrific to just have that, and then your expertise to bring in different speakers and the like to come in. You know, it's been a terrific journey so far.
I'm so glad, and we absolutely love having you both, and the community is such an incredible place. And I have to say, there's a lot of chatter about this conference. So many of our members are yet to be in the metaverse at all, let alone contribute or speak or facilitate in there like we're doing in the upcoming conference. So what are you both looking forward to with that?
I think you've kind of just nailed it there, Lindsay. I think we've had a little play with the metaverse and some of the platforms that are available, but haven't facilitated or trained in that. And I think given that the last 2 years, so much, well, pretty much everything has been done virtually, to really play in a different platform and play in a different space and see how that changes interactivity, because we all know that's the biggest challenge with virtual delivery, is that interactivity. I'm really keen to see how that works for me.
Yeah, the same. And if I can get a little avatar that kind of looks and does some really cool things, I'm really excited to see how that can happen, Lindsay.
Well, we are very lucky to be sponsored by Topia. So the world we're building in Topia is specific for the conference. So you'll just have to wait and see what all the little bits and bobs do and how you can interact with the conference world itself. And a big thank you to Topia as well for sponsoring the conference, but also a big thank you to all of our contributors, including both of you. It wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for incredible individuals like both of you here today. So thank you so much to both of you.
Absolute pleasure. Good to see you. Can't wait to see you on the L&D forum.
Very much looking forward to it as well. And thank you so much to everyone who's watched. If you are a forum member today, please comment below. And if you haven't yet registered for the conference, whether you're a forum member or not, there'll be a link around this video, so make sure you do so. We are looking forward to conferencing in the metaverse with you.